Ukraine says it is concerned by foreign media reports that Iran has delivered short-range ballistic missiles to Russia. Moscow has stepped up missile and drone attacks in recent days, stretching Ukraine's air defenses. Kyiv and its allies have previously accused Iran of supplying Shahed drones to Russia, but Tehran denies supplying any weapons used to attack Ukraine. And we are now joined by Mark Cancian, a former colonel in the U.S. military and now the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Colonel, why would Russia need Iranian missiles? Does it not have enough of its own?
Well, it does not have enough on its own. It has been producing ballistic missiles all along, often with parts smuggled in from global sources. But those haven't been enough to accomplish the ends that they're trying to accomplish, for example, attacking Ukrainian infrastructure, electricity, for example. So they brought in ballistic missiles from North Korea, and now they're proposing to bring in ballistic missiles from Iran. It's important to keep in mind that Iran has been supplying Russia with missiles all along, these Shahed 136s that we just heard about. Iran has been sending for about a year, and in fact, they've set up a plant in Russia to produce these missiles, these kamikaze drones. The ballistic missiles is a step up in support, but not fundamentally a change in policy.
Now, tell us more about these missiles. What could they be used for?
Well, these missiles will be used for the same things we've been seeing, that is, for massed attacks on Ukraine, particularly its infrastructure, but also cities. What Russia has been doing is it's been gathering up all the production over a couple of weeks and then firing them all off at once. That way they hope to overwhelm the Ukrainian air defenses. These ballistic missiles will be part of those attacks. Ballistic missiles are harder to shoot down than the kamikaze drones that we've been seeing from Iran. The kamikaze drones are propeller-driven. They're like airplanes, so they're slow and relatively easy to shoot down. Ballistic missiles, because they go up in the air and then come down at higher speeds, are harder to shoot down. These look like short-range missiles, which would make sense given how close Russia is to Ukraine in the front. Those are a little easier to shoot down than the long-range ballistic missiles.
But these missiles, these short-range missiles, are they as precise as drones are, for example?
They're probably more precise, but the two of them probably share very similar guidance. In other words, GPS guidance, maybe some other kinds of guidance, internal inertial navigation. So I would expect them to be about as accurate, but more difficult to shoot down.
Now, what does that mean for Ukraine, the deepening military cooperation between Russia and Iran? Is that dangerous?
Well, it's very dangerous because Iran, like North Korea, has become a major supplier of Russian weapons and munitions, supplementing what the Russian industry can provide. Without this outside help, the Russians would not be able to conduct operations at the same level that they are at right now. And by knitting these countries together, that increases risks in the Middle East, for example, as Russia provides technological support to Iran, helping them develop additional missiles, more sophisticated missiles. The Iranians already have a very sophisticated missile program. The Russians may well be helping that.
Now, there's not only Iran, there's also evidence that Russia has already used ballistic missiles supplied by North Korea. What impact have they had?
Well, it's the same sort of impact that we're looking at now. That is, these ballistic missiles have augmented what Russia has been able to produce on its own. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, kamikaze drones, they've been part of these waves of attacks that we've been seeing every couple of weeks. Large wave will strike Ukraine. Those waves now are a bit larger because of what North Korea has provided. Important to note that North Korea has been a major provider also of artillery ammunition.
Mark Cancian there from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us.
Thanks for having me on the show.